Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thinking of cars all of a sudden. Welcome to episode 107 of the Shadow Kvlt podcast.
106.
Of course. And continuing with Summerslam month, as the whole gang's here, myself, James, Walter, Scott, and Ricky. And we are all here with a doozy of a top 10, the first of two top 10s for SummerSlam month. We are talking pretty much the one championship synonymous with SummerSlam for the most part, and that's the Intercontinental Championship, as we are talking top 10 Intercontinental Championship matches in SummerSlam history. Because, wow, especially in the early days of SummerSlam, the Intercontinental title was a huge deal at SummerSlam.
The belt changed hands almost all the time. You knew it was SummerSlam, there's going to be an IC title match and an IC title change.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we were just talking about this before we went live, that, yeah, it's weird that after 2004, you haven't had very many Intercontinental Championship matches in SummerSlam since 2004.
And fans complain now about how the Intercontinental title is ignored. It's been ignored since about 2004.
When was that time frame that it was taken out completely? Was that 2000?
No Mercy,
late 2002 through
No Mercy 2002 through Judgment Day
2003.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we gotta put a new logo on the belt.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fans, stop whining. This is not new. WWE has downgraded the Intercontinental title over time.
Realistically, the IC title hasn't really meant what it once was since about the summer of '98.
Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true. I was going to say the either the Universal Championship or the WWE Championship is now not anymore though, since they're unified. I was going to say that's more considered.
The big gold belt was more like the Intercontinental title.
Yeah. The big gold.
Well, we can have all Atlantic.
Like Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank is almost like the Intercontinental
Pretty
title.
much, yeah. Money in the Bank's more highly regarded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can have an all Atlantic title though.
We could, yeah.
And defend it on indie shows.
I want an all Antarctican title.
All Antarctican.
Oh, that's right.
Guar.
That's right. Guar, Penguins,
Polar
Bears.
The all North champion.
The all Mars Championship.
All Universe.
The Pluto Championship.
The Milky Way title. That's some Herb Abrams that came up with. The Milky Way Championship.
The Sombrero Galaxy Championship.
Yes.
The WWE Asgardian Heavyweight Championship.
I will buy that.
There's your crossover. When Disney buys WWE, there's your crossover.
Yep,
there you go.
Oh, God, what have I started? But anyways,
He's gonna dress up as Thor.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. No, they're gonna sign Wardlow, and they're gonna make Wardlow Thor. He's
Thor.
licensed as Thor. He's gonna be Thor, like the Kiss Demon.
Thordlow,
yeah.
Thordlow. And it'd get over.
MJF
Yeah, it would. It would get so freaking over. Yep. And they have to hire Loki to be Loki.
Oh, God.
Put a wig on him, put the outfit on him. Oh, yeah, definitely.
The horned helmet.
The horned helmet, everything. It'd be brilliant.
But anyway, what's the topic of this week?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what. We'll see you guys next week. Nah, I'm just kidding.
All right, have a good night. Later.
While you're doing that, I'm going to piss the internet off with that idea. Give me 1 second.
Do that. Put it out there.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
So yeah, top 10 Intercontinental Championship matches in SummerSlam history. Time to go through some honorable mentions. First, I got 2 honorable mentions. And again, going back to the point we were making of how the IC title hasn't been defended much at SummerSlam since 2004. So my 2 honorable mentions are 2 IC title matches we've had since 2004. First, well, actually, they both feature Dolph Ziggler. First, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler in 2018. I thought that was a very damn good match between those two. And and Rollins tried his hardest to kind of make the IC title feel like when Cena had the US title a few years prior, which was pretty cool. And both had good chemistry, very good match. And then the second honorable mention, once again with Dolph Ziggler, this time The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler 2014. I think out of all of the IC title matches at SummerSlam, that one might be the most underrated. You could make a case for it because it's like, to a lot of the hardcore fans, it's like, oh, Miz and Ziggler, that match must blow ass. This was a very damn good match between these two. Like,
Those guys have
holy
amazing
shit.
chemistry. They never have bad
Yeah.
matches.
Granted, they had better matches 2 years later.
A few years back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, granted, they had better matches 2 years later, especially that No Mercy 2016 match. Holy shit, that was amazing.
Shit.
But,
Mhm.
yeah, this is like a kind of like a good foundation for what they would do a couple years later. But those are my
There we
honorable
go.
mentions. Ricky.
There we go. It is now on social. The act.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Actually, I have no honorable mentions this time. Got it.
Oh,
Shocker.
okay.
Shocker.
Scott.
From the
Shocker.
guy who, this was the guy who I almost got 50 honorable mentions with the dip to. As a horseman.
He's running away. All right, so my
Uh-oh.
honorable mention is one that's, I'm guessing it's probably on a lot of you guys' top 10s. And for me, it's 97, Owen Hart against Steve Austin. Yes, it's a good match. Unfortunately, what happens for a finish supersedes what happens in the match because people just tend to remember that. See, there you go, about time. Yeah.
I was like, don't
Way to be
get
I
prepared.
almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's a great match, and it's like the last of Austin's solid in-ring, workhorse type work rate. But it's just more remembered for what happens that one moment in the match than the whole match itself. So, good match, but that finish just, that kind of takes it for the history books, unfortunately, on what could have been a great match, but you remember it for just that one moment in time.
All right, Walter.
Once again, the synchronicity of the minds of Mr. Scott and I come together. Austin and Owen from '97 is one of my honorable mentions. Mr. Scott basically just ran down why. Great match, but the finish really, it kind of made it fall flat. But there was that memorable moment of Steve trying to walk back by himself. It's honestly, it put him over as a tough guy. But again, it put over how tough he is. But again, the finish really was, fake. My other honorable mention is 1989 Ravishing Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior. Good match. That's all I gotta say. Good match. Nice, good crowd. So.
Uh-huh.
James.
And James.
I have 3 honorable mentions. First one, Honky Tonk Man Ultimate Warrior from '88. It's more spectacle and moment than match itself. Like, great moment. The first great moment in SummerSlam history. A great spectacle, but match, it was a squash. Second one I have, D'Lo Brown and Jeff Jarrett from 1999. The Intercontinental, the 2-belt match.
The
Really
Eurocontinental
freaking good.
match.
Because D'Lo was on a roll at the time, having both belts, and really good match there. My last honorable mention, Lance Storm and Edge from 2001. Really freaking good match.
And with that said, time for the actual top 10 itself. Starting at number 10, Walter brought it up just now, Ultimate Warrior Rick Rude, 1989. The better of the
Same.
2 Warrior Rude matches at SummerSlam. And yeah, and it's talk about like a weird, like, polar opposite with the 2 matches. Like here, this feud was a big fucking deal over this belt. And then you fast forward a year later, they're fighting over the WWF title, but the feud itself wasn't nearly as strong as it was in '89.
It's like they couldn't find an opponent for Warrior.
So they just went to Rude, yeah.
They knew Rude could carry him and have good matches. So it's like, all right, Rick, go to work. Do what you got to do.
they did use Hennig on and off, but they were also putting Hennig more towards the Intercontinental title.
Because they didn't have this big 400-pounder who squashed Hogan on the Brother Love show, but somebody's got to work with Terry, so
There was that fact.
Hogan's got a pose.
Hogan was posed, brother.
could have had Warrior and Earthquake.
Yep, could have had that.
We really could have. But really,
I'll double team it with you because this is my number 10 as well.
So it's my number 10 as well.
Okay, there you go. So we can all three of us can just chow on this one. It's a good match. I mean, if anybody can carry Warrior through a match, it's Rick Rude. One of the most underrated workers. We all tout how good Rick Rude is, but you forget how really freaking good Rick Rude is throughout his entire career, and this match is a definite example of that. Plus, you got Roddy Piper getting involved, and it's just fun as hell for him. He just flashes Rude with the obligatory "fuck you" from Rick Rude to Roddy Piper before he goes out after him. I always love that moment. I'm like, he fucking swore. And I love Piper's promo during the intermission. Bottoms up. I like those too. Next thing I want to do, I'm gonna drive Voyager 3. Yes. So yeah, it's a fun match. It's good. It's definitely ranks up there as one of Warrior's best matches. I'll tell you that much.
Like, of all the Warrior Rude matches, I always look at this one as the best one they had.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they had a really good one at WrestleMania 5. SummerSlam 90 in the cage was good, but this one here is the definitive Warrior Rude match.
Yeah, he knew how to work them. So.
Yeah.
The other funny thing to always think about, we talked about this last week when we were looking at SummerSlam 92. Here you had the former world-class championship wrestling heavyweight champion against the former world-class Texas heavyweight champion. In another life, you have that here too. So they knew each other and they knew what to get around.
Yeah. Ricky?
Number 10, Ultimate Warrior, Honky Tonk Man, SummerSlam 88. Basically the squash match. I mean, because originally, James, who can you tell who was originally supposed to take on the Honky Tonk Man?
It was supposed to be Brutus Beefcake. They had announced the match as Beefcake's final opportunity at the IC title, and then for whatever reason, they took Beefcake out with Ron Bass, and then mystery opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring somebody out, I don't care who it is.
Or as Warrior comes in, squash, 1, 2, 3, brand new Continental Champion, but at the time, Honky Tonk Man still holds the record for the longest reigning
35 years later.
Still holds it. Which I don't know if it's ever going to be broken. I mean,
unless they decide to go all the way through with Gunther.
I would love for Gunther to break that record, but only time will tell.
Yeah. Walter?
My number 10 is Ricky's number 10, Ultimate Warrior versus Honky Tonk Man from 1988. Pretty much the same reasons as James listed it. I just felt it was ranked, though. Reason, moments make matches. So, it's the most talked about thing from SummerSlam 88. Now, you fast forward from 1988. More people bring that up than they do the main event. So, yeah, it was the biggest pop of the night, too. So it was, it's pretty much everything James said. It's a moment. Squash or not, it's a moment. People remember it. I mean, wrestling is all about moments. Everyone remembers the moments, okay? If you take like a Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling title match, like between Jonathan Gresham and Daniel Bryan, I don't think anybody's going to remember anything from that match a year later, or let alone in this case, 34 years later.
Number 9. My number 9 is another Dolph Ziggler match. Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler, SummerSlam 2009.
I almost was going to put that on the list, but I was like, eh.
I mean, I also kind of look at this one as a bit of an underrated match because this was Rey coming off the heels of that really good feud over the bell with Jericho, and Ziggler was just starting to come into his own by this point as a singles guy. And they both put on another very good match for the IC title at SummerSlam. Yeah, it's like Dolph Ziggler's basically been in the same exact spot since this point. But hey, he made the best of it in this opportunity against Rey in 2009. So nothing more, nothing less. Ricky.
My number 9 involves Dolph Ziggler, but it's actually against The Miz in 2014. Yeah, it's not the match that will later had at No Mercy a couple of years later, which if you haven't seen that match,
Check it
go
out.
fucking watch that match. That's an amazing match. But this was the groundwork of what would later happen. Of course, Miz he was still a heel at the time. I think it was still a heel, or was he a baby face? I think it was still heel. And Ziggler was trying to come as a baby face, and
Ziggler
you
was
know,
babyface by this point.
yeah. I
Mhm.
always get confused around the Miz when he trying to go babyface. I always get that timeline kind of confused. But anyway, amazing match. Not the best, not the worst. I think it even opened the show if I remember correctly back in 2014.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So bit of a warm up for the audience to see what will really happen in the show. So yeah, number 9, Miz Ziggler, all 14 SummerSlam.
Scott.
My number 9 has been mentioned. 1988, Honky Tonk Man, Ultimate Warrior. Again, as Walter said, it's about those moments, and you have this moment and Liz taking off her dress. That's what you remember from the
Yeah.
first SummerSlam.
Oh
And
yeah.
so with this,
Memories,
the purpose
moments,
of
and
the wrestling business is to do the most amount of business, make the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And that's what this match does. You have an established long-time heel with Honky Tonk Man. You've got the up-and-coming superhero. That's a new word.
Hero.
Superhero with the Ultimate Warrior. And you just put him out there. 30 seconds, who cares? They get the business done. Warrior wins. Honky staggers out. What the fuck happened? Psychologically, storyline-wise, makes total sense because everyone tried to wrestle Honky Tonk Man and beat him. Warrior doesn't try to do that. He just plows over him, literally, and wins the title. So, memorable, like Walter said, to this day. People still talk about it, and that's how much it's made an impact.
Walter.
my number 9 is Miz versus not the Miz, excuse me, Dolph Ziggler versus Mysterio, 2009.
James.
My number 9, Diesel Razor Ramon 1994. Really freaking great Intercontinental title match with these two. You had Shawn Michaels in the corner of Diesel, Walter Payton in the corner of Razor Ramon. They're in Chicago. It was a big match here. The start of the breakup between Shawn and Diesel with the first super kick. Just really good stuff with the Click here.
Long-term storytelling.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What a novel concept.
Yes.
Yeah. What an idea.
And it's also funny how after the match, Diesel cuts a promo. Yeah, I lost a belt. I still have one. What a pittance. He throws down the tag title like, fuck this.
Fuck this shit.
Because that SummerSlam was the day after him and Shawn won the tag belts.
Yeah.
And the reason they did was because he was dropping the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam.
Number 8. Oh God, that didn't even come out.
She said.
What happens as you get older?
Yeah.
Number 8. There we
There you
go.
go.
There you go.
Did you press a button?
Maybe.
Baby.
You break
But,
something? Jeez.
But my number 8, it's another Rey Mysterio IC title match. Rey Mysterio versus The Miz, 2012. I kind of look at this one, out of all the matches on that card, I look at this one as like maybe one of those forgotten matches. Like, not a lot of people remember this match, but going back, very good match between these two. And this was just after Miz won the belt at Raw 1000 when he returned from movie filming and started doing the best thing he ever did, which was the movie star gimmick. And why not put him out there against Rey? And they put on a very good match.
Yeah, Miz and Mysterio are two guys that, it doesn't get mentioned a lot, but their chemistry is spot on. They
got good chemistry.
WrestleMania this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The title, the world title tournament final.
When
WWE title
Rey won the
tournament.
WWE title.
Yep, 2011, right?
Yeah.
2011. Yep.
Yep.
That was a great match too.
Mm-hmm. Ricky.
My number 8. James mentioned it. Ramon versus Diesel, SummerSlam '94. Again, kind of putting the seeds of what would later happen in Rumble 95. Shawn winning the Rumble, going to WrestleMania against Caesar for the title. Correctly, I think. Yeah. Of course, this was the birdie, just the seats. Again, long-term booking, people.
Right.
What a concept.
It would culminate at the Survivor Series that same year after a third super kick accidentally.
Over.
No, I mean,
And Shawn walks out, Diesel, and we'll talk about that at some point if we ever talk Survivor Series 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this match is another match that not a lot of people talk about, to be honest. And it's a match that, rewatching it, I thought it was a pretty good match. For Diesel being a big guy, Razor, I guess
Another big guy.
Was a big guy as well. And the thing that Diesel I always talked about was that he didn't really like to work with big guys a lot because it was like he thought it was like two massive giants just doing nothing. But if you get a big guy like a Razor or a Taker who were flexible and could do different moves, it would be a more enjoyable match to work. So for that,
It also
that's
really
not right.
helps that these guys were friends.
That
and knew each other inside and out.
Mhm. Scott.
My number 8 from one of the best SummerSlams of all time, 2002, Chris Benoit versus Rob Van Dam.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
forgot about that match, to be honest.
Brand supremacy with this one.
Right. And, again, 2002 SummerSlam, infamously fantastic. And this goes right along with it. You got two of the best at that time fighting over that title, just everything they got. It just amazing matchup. So,
if Benoit wrestled somebody like that today, he wouldn't be able to keep up.
nope.
Hashtag talk about later.
Yeah.
We're going to make me apologize and donate money in Benoit's name.
And
Right.
you will like it. I apologize, you son of a bitch. It's the greatest thing in winning the world title 3 times. Vince McMahon apologizes to CM Punk.
Woo!
Walter.
My number 8 is Ricky's number 9. Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz 2014. What can I say? Very good match. Two other guys, two guys who have profound. The Miz doesn't get enough credit because he really can work with basically everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. He doesn't need to do a lot either. Keeps a very basic, good, simple psychology. You want to piss the smarks off? Say Miz is a throwback to the territory days, the Crockett days.
Yep. James.
My number 8's already been mentioned before, but Rey Mysterio, Dolph Ziggler, 2009.
All right, number 7 was already brought up. Diesel versus Razor Ramon, SummerSlam 94. Great fucking match between these two. And the reason why it doesn't get talked about as much is because all the internet fans just want to shit on Kevin Nash and say, oh, he could only have good matches with Bret and Shawn. Fuck that. This and the Taker match at Mania 12 are proof that Nash can fucking work.
Oh, he's only got 5 fucking moves, really. He's got that.
And one with the hair flip, 6 with the hair flip.
6 with the hair flip.
Squisher.
Snake eyes.
Here's why I asked Kevin what a squisher was, right?
That's the where he puts him on the second rope, runs, and jumps
out.
out.
That's exactly because I asked Kevin, I said, dude, what's a squisher? At Memories, Moments, and Mayhem 2016. We were all sitting down, and he's like, "What's a what? A squisher?" Like, oh yeah, squisher. That and he said exactly what you said. Real big boss man would drape him over the ropes and come down and bring. That's a squisher.
Yep.
And then he went back to playing on his phone and crossing his legs.
Yep.
Yeah. Big Daddy Dainty.
But
more matches? Are we done yet?
Are we done? Can we go home? Thank you. My God.
By the way, Nash has a podcast now, too.
He does.
Man.
Him and Sean Oliver.
Yep.
Actually, my favorite thing from Nash that night. Oh, come on, Jennifer. Do I have to stand up for the picture? I'm tired.
Yeah, Walter's wife demanded that Kevin Nash stand up when she took a picture with him because there's not many men we know taller than Jen.
He's like, oh, come on.
In more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to look terrible.
But yeah, that's my number 7. Ricky.
My number 7, Edge versus Lance Storm, SummerSlam 01. this was during the hype that Edge was coming out of being, of course, being King of the Ring. He was getting momentum. And I guess
Before
this
the
was during
breakup of Christian.
this was during the Alliance and pay-per-view before or after, which didn't even get me started on the whole invasion thing. Of course, this was WWF versus the Alliance. Edge winning the belt from the Alliance. Of course, this was the beginning of Edge's stardom to become a great match, great technician because of Lance Storm. He's more of a technician kind of guy. Edge is kind of more of a, I don't want to say technician, but can work with any kind of style of wrestling, if I can say so myself. But
Hybrid.
yeah,
Hybrid,
so,
yeah.
So yeah, pretty solid match.
Scott.
My number 7's already been mentioned. 2014, Dolph and Miz. We know how good this match is and how good these guys work together. That's all that needs to be said.
Walter.
My number 7 is Levi's number 7 and Ricky's number 8. Diesel versus Razor, 1995. That's the 4th time this match has been brought up, so I don't know what else to say there is about it.
James.
My number 7, Scott already brought up, but Chris Benoit, Rob Van Dam, 2002.
Which is my number 6. Benoit, RVD,
Which-
2002.
We know we were going to have a lot of the same ones, folks.
At a time when
Yeah.
Raw versus SmackDown actually mattered, Van Dam was
Yes.
Raw, Benoit was SmackDown, so whoever won got the Intercontinental title for that show.
Yeah.
Yep,
Pretty much brand supremacy that we'll get tossed.
exactly. Ricky.
My number 6, Ultimate Warrior, Ravishing Rick Group, SummerSlam 89. Again, I mean, like y'all guys mentioned before, a really, really amazing match. The best match out of their entire feud. And, again, Ultimate Warrior, we know how much he's not really the best ring performer. Rick Rude, a really, 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 really good ring performer. For some reason, they kind of made it work.
They just clicked.
just
Rude
clicked,
made
and of course-
Warrior work hard.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, with Rowdy getting involved and all that.
Fuck
I
you.
just laugh. Fuck yeah, you motherfucker! That's my number 7. That's number 6.
Scott.
My number 6 been mentioned. 2001, Lance Storm, Edge. Cut from the same mold. Just fabulous chemistry together. Yeah, just put them in the ring and just let magic happen. Yeah.
Walter.
Scott and I are cut from the same mold. My number 6 as well, 2001, Edge versus Lance Storm. Easily great back and forth match. Easily Lance Storm's best match in his very short WWE tenure.
Yeah.
Yep.
James.
My 6 has been mentioned already, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, 2018. Another pair that had great chemistry together.
Mm.
I have a feeling the top 5 we're all gonna have the same
Well,
song.
I would say
maybe.
I would say
Maybe.
top 4.
Yeah,
because
4.
my number 5.
Maybe.
My number 5. Scott and Walter had an honorable mentions for obvious reasons, but I still have it in the top 5. Owen Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's my number
97.
5 as well.
That's my number 5.
So the three of us with 5.
Yeah.
You all
I
have
mean-
5.
Look, if
you're gonna give me 5,
if the pile drive doesn't happen and the finish
This would've
isn't
gone
all
higher.
fucking hell, this probably would have been 2
Yeah.
or 3. Because
Yeah.
this was a fucking great match. The crowd was
Undeniable.
hot. Steve was at, up to this point
On his
in
way
his
up.
WWF career, he had hit that big spot. Him and Owen put on a great match. Yes, the finish went the way it did, but you remember the finish of Austin had been preaching, I'm the toughest SOB in the WWF, and it's like, okay, now he actually has to fucking live up to the gimmick.
And he did.
For
Yes.
real.
He did.
And he did,
He did.
which, yes, it took away years off his career, but it added a little bit to his career, because if he was willing to go through all of this just to keep going, it's fucked up finish, but it's one of those memorable finishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like James just said, if the botched pile driver didn't happen and everything went to plan, yeah, this would have been near the top of the list. Near the top, because up until then it was
Yeah.
fucking classic
Yeah,
match.
I don't
before.
remember if did Owen apologize afterwards to
No.
Steve?
No, you never did.
No, and there was a bone of contention
Right.
that
For a
Austin had.
long time. Yep.
It was
And
one
I
of those.
always-
After Survivor Series, I don't want to work with him anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always kind of look at it, like, people often would say, like, oh, Owen never apologized because he didn't care. No, I look at that whole thing as,
scared.
yeah, Owen was
He was
probably
scared.
scared to figure, because he probably just didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say to
After
somebody
all,
after
it's
you
like,
almost
oh,
paralyzed?
fuck. Yeah, it's like,
I mean, if I were Owen and Steve Austin is pissed off at me, he wants to beat me up, I'll let him beat me up. I'll be like, okay, I deserve that.
then, like,
Beat me the
take
fuck
Give it a
the
shot.
beating like a man.
Yeah, take it
Yep.
like a man. It
I think
sucks
it's also
that, of
because
course.
I think Steve tried cutting the pile driver spot out of the match. I think that, didn't he
Because
say, didn't he like say no pile drivers or anything like that before the match?
what a lot of people forget, Austin was already having neck problems at this time.
Mhm.
And then the pile driver just took it from
Elevated
Yeah.
from 0 to 11.
Not just a pile driver.
Yeah.
It was one of those like a.
It was sit out tombstone, and it was even
Yeah,
worse.
which-
than that.
Yeah.
Owen had done the tombstone many
Plenty of
times.
times.
Normally,
Mhm.
yeah,
He never
normal
sat down.
tombstone.
And I think that's what it was. It's like,
It was.
just don't sit down, don't do anything
Just
stupid
go to your
or
knees
whatever.
like you did
and
before. Yeah.
Yep, you always learn the business. Tuck your chin, kid. And there's only so much you can do to tuck your chin when you've got a guy's thighs around your head and you have no way of maneuvering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda
Well,
like
the only
kinda
move,
like
the only move you don't tuck your chin in for is Styles Clash.
Yes.
Yes,
Don't
I was gonna mention
No,
Styles Clash.
tuck your chin is in, dude. This is not tucking your chin. That's what you do for the Styles Clash.
No, I said tilting
Yeah.
head back.
Yeah, you don't do it that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
So,
it-
But
it kinda
every other
sucks.
move, by default,
Yeah, every
you
other
tuck
move tuck your chin, but the Styles Clash,
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
So
But
your
it
argument's
kinda-
invalid.
yeah,
Move
but
on.
it-
Yoshitatsu,
Yeah,
Frankie
yeah,
Kazarian.
but it kind of sucks, with Owen passing.
It
See, what's the
had to
thing, like-
take Owen passing for Austin to forgive him.
Yeah, for
it.
Austin to tribute him. Hmm.
Yeah.
And let shit go.
Bret,
Mm.
Mm.
Punk.
Vince.
Yeah.
My number 5 has been mentioned. Seth Dolph, 2018. It's amazing. Fantastic match. Two guys,
Walter.
workhorses for the company, and just have such good chemistry. Put those two as a tag team now.
Why not?
I mean,
If we can't get Walter's dream tag team of Kenny Omega and Seth Rollins, let's have the next best thing with The Miz
What
and
a
Seth
team
Rollins.
that would be, though. Still, the
I
freaking
would
best
be.
is what I call them.
Yep.
The freaking-
And then the other team would be freaking awesome.
yeah.
fucking awesome.
I actually made Rollins and Omega as a tag team in 2K22 and gave the Freebird entrance. And
Let's play
both
video
of them-
games. Becky, what are you
I
doing?
made a special jacket for Kenny to match up with Seth's.
Becky comes into Seth like, is that what it looks like? Is that what it looks like?
Hi, honey.
No.
what the fuck is going on here?
Wait,
Shouldn't you change the fucking baby?
The whole thing. Scott and I booked the whole angle out.
Oh yeah, we
Is
did.
that what it looks like? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah. What are you doing? I watched Kenny Omega in our living room.
He's
More
gone.
game. More game.
Walter.
Walter.
My
number
number, all right, we're going to start bringing the heavy hitters out. My number 5, Shawn and Razor ladder match, 1995. Not as good as the WrestleMania 10 match. And actually, in my opinion, there's been better ladder matches.
Yeah.
As you will see as we
Yeah.
go through. As you see as we go forward. But still, it was they did almost live up to WrestleMania 10. It was still a good quality match. But the thing is, it was a face versus face motif going there in this one, which I felt kind of made it less impactful than the WrestleMania 10 one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you, and that's why that match is my number 4.
Yep.
So
That's
number
my
4.
4 as well.
Four as
So,
well.
okay, originally, SummerSlam 1995 was announced to be Shawn Michaels versus Psycho Sid for the Intercontinental title. Then new WWF president Gorilla Monsoon, I'm going to be the people's president, and I'm going to give what the people want, and they want a Shawn versus Razor ladder rematch. There was no heat heading into this match because it was face versus face. These two are friends now on screen. Like the month earlier, Shawn wins the Intercontinental title and they're celebrating, and now they have to wrestle. They try storyline wise, they tried to make the best out of it. It's Shawn keeps hearing it's like Razor beat you. I've had to live with that for 18 months. And I'm gonna beat you this time. But also, they had the no violence policy, so they couldn't use the ladder as a weapon. They had to have a wrestling match with a ladder, and it wasn't as great as the WrestleMania 10 match, but it was still fucking
fantastic. Yeah.
And that was the other thing.
And also,
better, as you said, though, there was a background to it. Shawn was the uncrowned champ, so they had to, they had to fill that in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You never beat me. Yeah, but you never beat me. Ooh.
And also, this ladder match is famous for a botched ending where Shawn tries 3 different times to grab the belt. First time he flops. Second time he has the belt and he slips and falls. Then he has a temper tantrum with a ladder, and then
sounds like a ladder match Scott and I know.
Yes.
And he just sets it up and grabs it. Meanwhile, Razor's just waiting there. Grab the fucking belt, Shawn.
Yeah.
And it's also the opening of the match where Shawn's pissed off how Earl or Hebner put the belt on the thing.
So he's like, bring it down. Let me fix it. There.
You have to be Andre the Giant with a jetpack to get the belt.
But the other big thing, it's like, we got the kayfabe reason why this match happened, but the shoot, they were looking at this card thinking, okay, we need something for this card, because this card looks like a sack of shit. We need something.
I mean, not to say Shawn versus Sid would have been bad.
No,
it probably would have been really good, but
probably would have been a great match.
Storyline-wise would have made more sense, but thank God we got Shawn versus... I always wish they would have done... Let's just say, hypothetically, Razor stays in 96. We could have had a third ladder match for the WWF title between these two.
I like Survivor Series.
Yeah,
since we're back where it all began at Mania 10.
2.5 years later, same building for the Winged Eagle.
And we still would have had Dungeon of Doom versus Hulk Hogan in WCW.
Yes, we would have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, Scott?
Yeah,
Ricky, do you have anything else to add to this? You didn't really say anything.
I mean, pretty much like I said, y'all just said differently. I mean, it's not as good as their WrestleMania match, but still pretty good match.
But the crazy thing is, according to some of the people within the company, that they had better ladder matches on house shows in the build-up to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scott Hall said that in a shoot interview there with our video.
They were doing ladder matches with Shawn and Bret when
Bret 92.
Yep.
And they
one
just
of those
clicking.
matches being on the first ladder match DVD.
Mm-hmm.
But Scott is...
Well, that was my number 4 too.
Oh, that was
Walter's. Wow.
Yep.
My number 4 is Rollins and Ziggler, 2018, the last great Intercontinental title match. And the last Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, yeah.
Yeah.
Now on to number 3. My number 3. My number 3. Mr. Perfect Bret Hart, 1991.
Ooh. Me too. My number 3 as well.
My number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
we all know what our top 3 is. We all know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, 2 and 3 are in different order, but we'll get there.
You're right.
When we get there. But with Bret and Perfect, the great build-up. It's like Bret may be excellent, but he's not perfect.
Perfect.
And Bret was coming into his own by this point as a single star after the Hart Foundation split. And going back and looking at this match, it's like Hennig coming in with an injured back. And if this was any other guy, Perfect would have just sat out the show. But he owed
But
Bret
he wanted
a
to make a
favor.
match for Bret. Yeah.
He wanted to make Bret because Bret helped make Perfect on his rise. So it's like, well, I'm going to do the same to you as you did for me, so I'm going to give you the belt.
I'm going to go all out here. This is the
second match on the card. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the most prominent Intercontinental title match since Savage Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. You know,
Yeah.
it's like that, and then all that time happens, and then you have this
Yeah.
match. Really,
Well,
if you think
well,
about it,
you could say
you
you could also say
when you have two on a high profile level, two straight up workhorse technician workers, all that stuff. There's really, I mean, it's like Savage Steamboat, and then it's perfect Hart for me.
It was
Yeah.
Brett's comeuppance too. It was his
Yeah.
breakthrough match.
It was
the match
his
that
coming out
solidified
party.
that he
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
going to be a top singles guy for
Yep.
a long time.
Yeah, it was his night. He made him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and amazing match, but
we
definitely
had little previews prior to that. We had sneak peeks. The Bad News Brown feud. Actually, him and Perfect had some matches at house shows. Actually, a really good time limit draw match they did at the Garden too. I think it was 90 when they did it. It was either 89 or 90.
It was 89 because that was during Mr. Perfect's rise when they were having time limit draws and Bret was putting Perfect over on Perfect's rise up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, the real start of, like, okay, this Bret could be a really good singles was that final two at Survivor Series 90 between him and DiBiase.
That was another sneak peek because they went about a good like 5, 7, 8 minutes, which is unheard of with a last
round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they had some really good sequences in that match.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
Definitely looking back, as great as this match was, definitely the King of the Ring 93 match was better because Perfect was healthy by then. So they were so he was able to do more. Where not taking away from this match is a classic, but with Perfect's back, you could tell he was in pain during this match, but still fucking went out there like
And just like we saw with Hawk from SummerSlam 92, what somebody can do when they're not 100% and, you know, in an
for a
altered
different
state.
reason.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For different reasons. You see that with this, what a guy can really do hurt. You know?
Adrenaline is
Yeah.
a hell of a drug.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug. So, yeah, along with cocaine. Don't forget how he died. But, you know, there is that.
I'm just gonna get it over with. Might as well talk about it. You know, great match, two great technicians, the rise of Bret, and I think one of the most memorable moments is when Bret is getting ready to put the sharpshooter on Mr. Perfect, and Mr. Perfect was like, no, he's not gonna give up. And then when he finally taps out, the crowd goes crazy.
The pop.
Absolutely.
The pop.
The
Yeah.
pop, he
Brilliant, because it was a brilliant out of finish nowhere that you didn't see very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think before that, the crowd even popped more when I think Bret kicked out of the Perfect Plex, because at the time,
First guy
nobody-
to kick out of the Perfect
Uh,
match.
Yeah, nobody
Warrior
was able
kicked
to
out of
kick
it
out
at
of it.
Survivor Series.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Beefcake did. Am I wrong, James?
Beefcake might have. I know Warrior
Oh.
did at Survivor Series in 90. Hogan might have on house shows.
Hogan did on
Yeah.
house shows. I know that
House
for
shows,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
was one of the few who were able to kick out of the Perfect Plex. And
It
of
was a
course, the
protected. It
sharpshooter.
was a pretty protected finish.
Yeah.
Totally protected, yeah.
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 So if somebody
And then, of
kicked out of
course-
it, it meant something.
Yeah.
So,
And then, of course, Bret winning the title, going to hug his dad in the crowd,
mhm.
you know,
It's
showing like,
wonderful. It's wonderful.
yeah.
It's still real to him.
It's
It was
really
real.
good there. I like that. Oh, sorry, Lord.
Mhm. So yeah, that's what happened. Number 2.
3.
But what's your number 3, Ricky?
My number 3,
Yep.
Triple H, The Rock.
That's
SummerSlam
my
98.
3.
Hey,
That's my
let's
number
put the that's my number 3 also. Let's put the Bret Hart masturbatory overtone on the
Go
side.
ahead.
Now we're all
Yeah.
starting to sound like FTR at the moment. So
Yeah.
FTR and Punk.
But yeah, with Rock Triple H here, as Walter alluded, another phenomenal ladder match, and yes, Scott was
Mhm.
there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and then I would say,
Honestly, some
say
people say this is better than the Shawn Razor ladder matches.
you could make an
Arguably it
argument
is.
for it. You
Argue
could
with
make
that.
a
Yeah,
case
this is a
for
good
it.
argument for it.
Mhm.
now, may
I mean,
point
would
out-
I say it? I'll say they're equal for different reasons, just me. But yeah, it's like you look back at this feud. Like technically, these two had been feuding since a year and a half prior when they were different names,
90s.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley
90,
and Rocky Maivia when they were
96.
97 and 97 when they were going at it for the title early in 97 when Rocky got the belt. Then you fast forward a year. Not only are they feuding over the IC title, but in a faction war, DX versus the Nation. And these two just
yeah.
going at it on the mic and in the ring. Like, hell, the month before, they had a great 30-minute draw at Fully Loaded the month prior. And then attacks with the ladder start happening, and we get on television or on pay-per-view, only the third ever ladder match on pay-per-view in WWF at this point.
Back when it mattered.
Back when ladder matches actually meant something.
Now we get one like
every year.
WWE and
Every other
AEW
month.
get one like once every 3 months.
Yep.
And to think, Hunter entered this match with a injured knee. Because they were going to do test run ladder matches on the house shows. Then he hurt his knee. They cut those out, and it's like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to write a reason that your knee hurts. And it ended up being the knee injury that forced him to vacate the belt.
Yeah.
But
again,
still, loud fucking pop when he grabs that belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got two rising stars for the next generation. The Rock, third generation superstar. Triple H coming out of the King of the Ring tournament.
And hell,
they're going up the ladder.
Right at the beginning of the match, Rock tells Triple H, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
and
that motherfucker, fuck you.
And what's great about this match, why I love this match more than most ladder matches, this was more pure wrestling and story rather than spot fest.
Yeah, that's what ladder matches were.
And that's
before
before
TLC.
Yeah. But and the little uses of the ladder actually popped the crowd big time, like the big knee buster on the setup ladder. That was like, whoa. You hadn't seen them do stuff like that since Shawn and Razor at Mania 10. Because, even in 95, they did moves on the ladder, but couldn't use it as a weapon because of the policy and that shit.
Yeah.
But the people's elbow on the ladder got a big pop. And really, when you look at it, this was definitely the catalyst for both guys becoming world champions. Rock was a little faster. 3 months later, Triple H had to wait a year to get the belt, and it's weird.
And Rock was getting babyface reactions as well.
Yeah, at this point,
it's weird. You go from his babyface turn.
Yep.
Short-lived babyface turn, but it's now, you go back the year before, and it just goes to show you the progression of the feud.
Levi, let Walter talk.
Jesus Christ. I was just going to say one more important thing is it was the final chapter in a very long, drawn-out Nation of Domination versus DX feud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who could forget when...
Mr. Scott may have been there for the final chapter of that feud. However, I was there for the true key point of that feud. I was there for the DX Flasher.
Oh, that's right. You were there for that. Yes.
That's
right. The DX Flasher, yes.
Yep. And my father dropped his jaw. He couldn't believe it. He's like, hey, they allow that? He know what's going on. I told him, stop it. You enjoyed it.
You'll be all right. Jesus take the wheel.
Yes.
But I was going to say, it's
burn the bag.
Oh, God. Luckily, my phone hasn't gone off with that yet. But now it probably
Somebody
will.
subscribe to Twitch right now.
Well, it's not a Twitch sound. It's my phone.
Oh, no, okay.
I'll eventually make it a Twitch sound. But I was going to say, again, the progression of their feud the year before. Young guys over the IC title. Here, faction leaders. The year later, fighting for a shot at the title. And then the year after, fighting for the title. That's why this is one of my favorite feuds of all time, because of the progression over 4
long-term
years.
booking.
And there was some, professional jealousy between the two.
Always is.
It always is.
Yep. Well, and you could say the same thing for Razor and Shawn.
Mm-hmm. Friends,
friends, but hey, it comes down to you and me getting over. I'm going to get over.
Diesel and Shawn, they were best friends, and it's like, I'm going to blow this guy up. I'm going to make him look crappy because I want his spot.
You want to bounce all around, kid? All right, take all those 300 pounds on your shoulders. See how much you can breathe now.
Because guess what? When I go through the airport, I'm still 7 feet tall.
That's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else anyone wants to add?
Then that leaves number one.
Number
Everybody
one.
to say, And nobody troll, because we all
Ryback
know.
versus Big
Yeah.
Show
Right, yeah, see, somebody had
See,
to say
damn it,
something.
Walter, you
Okay,
had to go there.
Glamorella versus
Walter.
Kofi Kingston and Mickey
Right,
from
yeah.
08. Mr. Perfect Shawn Michaels, 93.
Uh-huh. 93, yeah. There you go.
Okay, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, 1992.
92.
There
The
you
greatest
go.
match in
92.
SummerSlam history, period.
End of story. Yep.
Cut, print, moving on.
Shut the gate.
So
moving
now
on.
time for the final 10. Yeah, Bret Bulldog won.
Yeah.
Now,
What's the point? We all have the same ones, just have them in different numbers.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
Perfect Bret, Rock, Triple H, Shawn Razor.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, where's
Brett
Brett
Perfect.
2 or 3.
Two or three.
Yeah.
Owen, Steve, Benoit, RVD, Diesel Razor.
Dolph, Rollins, Ray,
Rollins.
Ziggler, Rude Warrior,
Yep.
Honky Tonk Warrior.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much the list right
Yeah,
there.
that's pretty much it. So it's all pretty much the
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hope you played along at home and got the same things we did.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, it's like the best
number of
intercontinental
options. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah.
But now this week in wrestling, and I want to start this one off because
Or
I
do
have
we
a
want to start
lot.
from the bottom up? Was there anything else before?
I want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and get this out of the way before I end up
Whoa.
forgetting
Whoa.
about it.
We're going to get on the soapbox.
Get your
Okay.
popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn.
Okay.
Damn it.
So,
Ooh, boy.
One of the big things that came out is this whole thing of WWE going back to TV 14. Okay. I have been trying to get my words right when it comes to this because I have a lot to say about this. Granted, there was a period like maybe 10 years ago when I was first on YouTube doing wrestling videos that I was hoping that they would eventually go down TV 14 again. But as I've gotten older and gone back and watched stuff further beyond like 94, 95, it's like TV 14's not needed because it's not the rating of the show that's the problem with WWE. There are numerous problems with the company that has nothing to do with them being PG or even TV 14. Just to name a few, 3-hour Raws, terribly scripted promos, short-term schizophrenic booking, lack of investment in younger stars. Well, maybe a few years ago. Now it's a little bit different. But you get the point. Those are the big problems, not the fact that it's rated PG. You know, it's like people want to say, well, Hornswoggle versus El Torito, that's PG wrestling for you. Bring back TV 14. The reason why that was shit wasn't because of the fact it was PG. It was shit because it's shit.
Hey, guess
it has
what, everybody?
Nothing to do with the rating.
The NWO during its peak was PG.
PG. Yeah. Early Attitude Era was PG.
SmackDown was always PG.
Yeah,
exactly. And just to go to show you, like, and also with, like, WWE's mindset, thinking, oh, we're PG, how do we keep old fans here? Let's do 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one pay-per-view. That'll keep them here. 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one night is boring as fuck, unless you have a feud that's strong enough to warrant being in the cell at that show, which 8 out of 10 times since that pay-per-view was created, no.
Let's have a pay-per-view where there's a tables match, a ladders match, a chairs match, a stairs match, and a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Exactly. And it's like WWE, they're living in fear of their casual fans being bored, so they just throw boring versions of things we used to love at us because it's like, okay, well, we're PG, but we don't want to let go of some of the things of the past. Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, TLC, Extreme Rules, etc., etc., etc. And of course, like, yeah, the occasional hard way blood, it's interesting to see because it doesn't happen that often. And the only way you get blood in WWE is if it's hard way, like Brock Lesnar giving you elbows, or when a ladder's involved, or you hit the ring post. That's really the only time you ever see blood in WWE anymore is through accidental shit. And that honestly means more to see the rare hard way blood than to see the worked blood over and over and over again, like it was in the Attitude Era and most of the Ruthless Aggression era before they would go PG. And of course, before the past couple years when they would rarely swear. Yeah, they've been swearing a lot more as of late, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. So it's like, returning to TV14, it's like, if they decide to go back down that quote-unquote hardcore route, sure, the initial rush of blood would be exciting, but unless the problems I mentioned earlier are fixed, it'll be boring again in less than 3 months.
Cody,
it does not matter.
Cody got to get that color.
And also, to the fans that say that PG wrestling is completely god-awful, I present you 2 prime examples as to what PG wrestling could and should be. 1, NXT and NXT UK. PG and proud of it. And it was some of the best wrestling in the world from that time period. NXT UK, the best.
2.0 is TV14 now. 2.0 is TV14 now.
Well, before that, like
NXT UK right now,
the best
for those
pure
who want
wrestling show,
bare basic wrestling show.
Yes,
there you go.
And it's PG.
Smarky Mark and the Funky Bunch don't want to believe that. That's the thing, because NXT UK is fantastic. Anybody see Noam Dar and Mark Coffey? Holy cow, that was a great match this past week.
And like, yeah.
They have an hour a week, and they actually have they have a strong focus on men's singles, women's singles, men's tag team, and there is no women's tag team division, but they do have a strong focus on their women's division, and their men's division, and their tag team division, and they cram it all into 1 hour, and it's consumable, it's enjoyable, and the wrestling is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, and also with normal NXT prior to 2.0, they would feature wrestlers hurting each other with power bombs on the apron and have a ladder match once every 16 to 18 months. That's what made it special, not boring versions of hardcore matches from the past. Of course, there's always going to be the argument people say, well, NXT is niche television, meanwhile Raw and SmackDown cater to the more casual fan, so it has to be more entertaining, and you can't do the old school style of wrestling on the main roster, and it's like, that brings me to example number 2 of why PG, or what PG wrestling could and should be. Kevin Owens, John Cena's feud. 3 straight pay-per-views they put on back-to-back-to-back Match of the Year candidates that the fans loved, and they never left the ring one time. And the fans were chanting, holy shit, and this is awesome. That's the PG market that people should think of, instead of thinking, it's all completely god-awful because, they're doing these cheesy midget matches to appeal to the kids. The market is there for good PG wrestling. If you
WWF in the golden era,
there you go. There you go.
We bring up the catalyst that is AEW.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you have that neckbeard fan base on the internet that no matter what you try to do, no matter how much you try to say something on WWE that they're doing is good, they will jump all over you and smother and eat you alive like a bunch of piranhas. AEW does have some of that stuff that that we talked about. That's good, but it also has its share of garbage. But that's the thing.
No company's perfect.
Now that there's an alternative, everyone judges by they don't judge by what's going on in the ring. They judge by what is on the apron now. What logo is on the apron?
There it went.
It was. I heard it.
Yep.
Everybody judges by what's on the apron.
And then
Randy Orton and Seth Rollins can have a 25-minute wrestling match on Raw, and they'll still find some sort of fun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of wrap up the TV14 thing, it's like, when you really think about it, going back to TV14 would kind of be a terrible thing, first and most importantly from a business perspective, because after all, as business people, why would you only want to sell a ticket to just mom or dad? Well, probably just dad. When you can sell tickets for the whole family, that just makes better financial sense.
Yeah.
And then second of all, and this is coming from a guy who grew up in the Attitude Era, like right in the thick of the Attitude Era was when I got into wrestling when I was 3-4 years old, 98. This is coming from a guy who grew up in that era. It's not as good as people remember it to be. Was it the best time for wrestling? Absolutely. There was a lot of great things about that era, but there was a fair amount of crap during that time. Like, as a perfect metaphor, let's say me as a 14-year-old is going to a party and I look back on that time with fondness because it was like you had this incredible freedom, but then again, and it's like, how am I going about it? It's like you think like nothing bad could happen, but that's a trap. Everything is better when you were young, or everything was better in the past simply because you were younger when it happened and everyone wishes they can be young again. And of course, and it's like, but the point I'm making with the metaphor, let's say as I am now, if I were to go to one of those parties, they're playing god-awful music, everybody's bum-ass drunk, it smells completely god-awful, why the hell am I here? So, it's like, if the Smarks want to call me a boring piece of shit, go ahead, but I don't want to see constant blood. If you want to do blood, only do it for the feud and the match where it's warranted for the story, not all the fucking time.
Again, like AEW.
Pretty much.
Now,
Only
also,
when
if
it's
I can,
needed.
if I can add on here, it's the TV4T thing is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. As for the overall product, what it really does is it starts pushing the company towards gaining different advertisers. And they're going to start going for different companies to sponsor them and buy advertising time, because that's how television works. When they went PG, they were looking for a much more wide range, broader spectrum of advertisers to buy time on their programming. So when you watch Raw, SmackDown, whatever, it's going to depend upon your area. You're going to see commercials for cars. You're going to see commercials for beer. You're going to see commercials for toys, commercials for games. You're going to have stuff that spans adults, kids, teenagers, everything. What TV14 is going to do is it's going to force the company to look towards advertisers that are pushing towards that demographic. So you're probably going to see less of like the kids orientated advertisements and more teenager 18 to 24 male demographic, centered advertising. Now that can be a hindrance and can also be a benefit. I'm sure that Vince and his team have super psychoanalyzed every little detail and figured out, is this going to be beneficial for the company financially, for advertisers, because that is their main focus for television. That's how you make money on television, okay? So it's the advertising time, and anybody who's seen the Al Snow shoot interview from 20 years ago from our video talks about, how much 30 seconds of advertising time cost? About back then, $35,000, okay? That's how much it costs to run an ad on television on a cable network back then. Now it's probably like 50, 60,000. So it's going to change the spectrum of the advertiser you're going to see, which is going to change the demographic the product is going to, which is probably going to lead to some kind of change to the programming, but I cannot see it being this big radical change that we saw in the Attitude Era, because back then it was the Wild West. Everything was like free to go. Vince was not. It was a private company. Vince had much more freedom to do whatever he wanted. Now it's a corporation. It's a publicly traded company. And so he cannot have as much, freedom as he did back then. So it's going to be probably
political correctness, snowflakes.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and probably it's also, because I'm guessing AEW, because again, I don't have the programming, so I can't say, but I'm guessing the advertising and the businesses that buy into AEW are more in that TV 14, 18 to 24 demographic than WWE with the preview programming. I'm guessing. I can't say for sure.
They also plug a lot more Warner Media stuff. They promote a lot as well.
Yeah, so they're going to do that.
They're tying it with Shark Week next week. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, so they're probably matching that. trying to go for that market as well. Doesn't mean that they see AEW as a threat, because WWE doesn't see AEW as a threat. But yeah, so it's going to be a subtle change, I think, but nothing too dramatic. I can't predict the future. I'm not a prognosticator, but we'll see.
I think they're doing it so they can further discuss the size of Miz's balls. Honestly,
It must be something to do with his balls. Yeah, it's all about balls.
Probably.
Or
It
turn the whole
tits. Now it's about balls.
turn the whole Vince thing into a storyline.
They're selling shirts now that are definitely for that older age group.
Yep, we've seen the shirts.
Shirts about Mrs. Balls now. They just put them out.
Yep.
There is a shirt about Vince. I'm sure. I don't know if it's still up there about him being an asshole or something like that.
Yep.
So,
But what else this week in wrestling? Now that I got all that off my chest, I feel like I've lost 15 pounds.
What do we got for injury updates? Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson got hurt in the tag team triple threat match with
Shocker.
with
so is that why Keith and whoever won the titles?
And Starks and Slobs. That's something. Keith Lee wins an AEW title.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is because he got hurt? Is that why they won?
No, he got hurt during the match.
Oh.
So, but was that the plan finish? Is what I'm saying.
I don't think they changed the finish.
Okay.
That's a box. I think they would not have done that.
Okay.
But they're going to be tag champs for a short period of time.
Yeah.
They'll split because they've been teasing a split for the last few weeks.
Yeah. So it's
give it about a month.
Just throwing them a bone or whatever, but it's kind of ridiculous.
Claudio Castagnoli gets a shot at the Ring of Honor World Title.
Fucking put that belt on him.
Just do it. Yeah.
It's the 5'3" Jonathan Gresham. If fucking Gresham wins, why the fuck are we here?
Yeah, exactly.
That new Ring of Honor should be built around Claudio.
Yeah,
Yes.
There you go. Because keep putting Claudio on with he's with the Blackpool Combat Club, which the Smarky Marks are love. But the problem is he's the number three guy behind Danielson and Moxley.
Yep. So instead of being a forerunner, he's in the background, like you said. Bad move
So
right from the top.
if they make him a forefront for Ring of Honor, but from what I heard, Tony still has no overall plans for Ring of Honor.
Really?
I heard there's going to
What?
there's a lot of contracts expiring, and most of them are not going to be re-signed. A lot of the lower tier card, and the reason being is so Tony can free up payroll so he can build Ring of Honor.
You got it.
You don't say.
Yep. You don't say.
Oh my god. This is my shocked face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean he can throw his money all over.
No. People of the world, please stop equating wealth with knowledge. Doesn't work that way. Never has.
And how do these people make
especially with
spending?
Especially with
It's like,
daddy's
if you
money.
follow what he's done with the soccer team and the NFL team, and you think he's this great businessman, he's fucking not.
I got
You
some swampland
fucking
soil
Mark. Fire me! Fire me! Fire me!
That whole angle's fucking dead.
Oh yeah, nobody cares.
MJF is now ice cold.
Yep.
Whatever they were trying to do, it flopped.
Yeah, it's done. Didn't know how to work it. Didn't know how to promote it properly, and just
Same thing with
wouldn't take
pulling
the
the
chance.
trigger on Wardlow. Pulling the trigger on Wardlow, that flopped too. Not as hard as this. And they got a belt on him now. He's TNT champion, but he wrestled Orange Cassidy on Wednesday, and this is a guy who two top baby faces, putting them in there. We're trying to build this Wardlow guy up, although they just spent the last 2 or 3 years doing so. Why are we continuing this? Why are we putting him in there with Orange Cassidy? But why is he selling for Orange Cassidy?
Yeah, makes no sense.
Who knows?
I just don't know.
I'm sure some neckbeard will tell us we don't get it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, Orange Cassidy is actually a really good wrestler, and you should like him because he's good in the ring.
So is Brad Armstrong.
Yep. So is Tom McGee.
So was Mike
So is
Jackson.
Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
What else has happened?
Yeah.
Nothing I know
Oh,
of.
Jeff Jarrett, special
Jeff
guest.
Jarrett.
Oh, yeah.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at the SummerSlam card, and I see he's reffing Usos Street Profits. Only reason because Tennessee guy. Other than that, why?
In Nashville,
I smell a screw job coming up.
He better smash one of the Usos with a guitar. That's going to happen.
Someone is getting a kabong for sure.
Yep, El Kabong.
Yeah.
You know who's getting the kabong? Sami Zayn. He's getting it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
And you're going to have 60,000 plus going fucking nuts over it.
Crazy. Yep, they'll love it. Yep. Ref bump, guitar shot, stroke.
Fucking buy the rights to the song My World.
Yeah.
His TNA song.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're gonna get wham 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 wham.
We're gonna get Bruce. We're gonna get Bruce backstage going down by the band, down in the go.
Brian Armstrong's not there to do it anymore.
No, he's not.
In
No.
my day, working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow. 'Cause I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight.
Or he'll do his duet with Sawyer Brown. Who remembers that one?
I don't want to. Thank you. Moving on.
They're breaking up the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions right
Yes.
after they put the fucking belts on them.
You're Jade Heel. I'm like, what?
That was dumb.
Why?
I
don't
was
get this.
upset.
They did it because they already have an underdog, lovable baby face with Roxy now, or Roxanne Perez, whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's like
two lovable underdogs.
Okay,
Yeah.
They just put the tag belts on them, and they're doing a breakup
They want to get rid of
angle.
the tag belts. Obviously, they want to get rid of the tag belts. They're going to put them away, and you know,
honestly, when I knew she wasn't gonna win the belt, it would have been a shock if Roxanne would have
Yeah,
won the
of
belt.
course.
It would have been a shock. There's no way she's gonna win the belt.
Yep.
I really have, that.
Yeah, and the skateboard broke before she touched her. That's all over Botchamania. So I was like, all right,
But
just
according
do
to
the
Chris
skateboard shit. We know you
Jericho,
can't
it's
do it.
disrespectful to call out botches.
Right? Yes, that's
Right.
yeah. Sit down with ECW where they did it all the time.
Still
You
not as
fucked
bad
up.
as-
You
Yeah.
fucked
It's still
up.
not
Remember
as
that,
bad as
Chris?
the Moxley Omega death match.
Oh God,
Eddie Kingston and his panic attack.
PTSD.
We were talking about it earlier. Jordan Grace saying that Benoit couldn't hold his own in today's wrestling, which
Right.
I think the shitty thing was, that's her opinion, whatever, but I don't think Jericho and Chavo had to gang up on her like that and make her apologize and donate money in Benoit's name. Nancy Sullivan's sister caught wind of that, and she was not happy. She was openly pissed off on social media. Jordan Grace tried apologizing, and she's like, I'm not really in the mood to talk to you right now.
he's an Impact. She's irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Moving on.
Actually, I saw this from Cornette this morning that supposedly at a house show, Liv and Natalia
Natty.
we're having a house show match, and Liv did the spinning DDT 1, 2, 3. Natalia no sell, gives her the finger.
Yep.
Which I'm like,
Yeah, I know what's up with this.
Well,
Yeah.
Nanny wasn't punished because she was back on Raw and SmackDown the following week.
Well, she was putting over Liv, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she was putting Liv over.
And she
So
sold.
I don't know.
Next time she sold.
So I don't know if there's heat there or it's part of the angle. Who knows?
I would not think that Natalia has that kind of attitude where she would do something like that in the ring unless like up for a shoot. I don't think she would do that, honestly.
Uncle Brett did.
But that's Bret.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah.
Oh, we do have another injury. I don't know if you guys brought it up, but it was at the NXT UK taping. The NXT UK champion, Ilya Dragunov, injured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we talked
when I
about that
saw
last
that, I'm
week,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Now,
You had
another
to
one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Amazing title reign, probably just as good as Walter's and as good as Pete Dunne's. Hits a fucking wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when you look at that though, it's like unless they were about ready to build up somebody in NXT UK for the next several months, who could they have had to take the belt off of him?
I don't know.
Another thing, why
know.
is Jordan Devlin in NXT 2.0? That dude should be on the main roster now, making best friends with Theory and forming some sort of like Generation Next type stable.
I mean, this past SmackDown, also Paul Heyman kind of changing Theory's mind to not cash in at SummerSlam, and he said, "I'm cashing at SummerSlam." We'll see about that.
And Dolph Ziggler showed up.
Yep.
Hey, Dolph's a babyface, and anyway,
I think he's just there to help elevate Theory more.
Yep.
We'll get a match for SummerSlam.
Gatekeeper stuff.
Really good.
Probably. That would be a good match.
Unless they're finally going to start pushing Dolph as a world title contender again.
Oh, wow. About 10 years too late.
Well, it's on and off. He's been a world title contender before. They just pull him in, pull him out, pull him in, pull him out.
Yeah.
Dolph's in that spot of, I'm making 7 figures, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I think he doesn't. I don't think he's bothered too much. The fans are all.
It's the fans.
Everybody out there, Dolph doesn't care. Okay, he's fine. He knows that there's life beyond wrestling. He does other stuff. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
New
besides,
A&E biography last Sunday. Undertaker.
Undertaker. Yeah, I heard that was.
Oh yeah,
I need to watch.
I love that biography.
Tomorrow is Goldberg, and I think Goldberg's going to address the whole Bret Hart Starrcade thing.
Oh, speaking of Goldberg, Regal has invited Goldberg on to his podcast.
Yes, he has.
That's
to do a discussion about their match to clear the air.
Because Regal did what he was asked to do by the agent for that match. And he won't drop the name. I'm going to guess Arn. But I don't know.
Yeah, that seems something Arn would do.
It goes to show you how not so much modern wrestling is. We care more about the podcast than what we see on TV nowadays.
Dude, I was just watching Up, Down, Down, Superstars and Soldiers, okay? It was Kofi Kingston, Nikki, and an actual U.S. Sergeant of the Army against Tyler Breeze, Shayna Baszler, and another soldier. That was way more entertaining, those 3 people playing 2K22 against each other, than what's been going on television. The promos were better, the matches they played the games for were better and more exciting. So, what the fuck?
Or fucking AJ and Rollins playing 2K and AJ having a rage quit smashing a controller.
Yes.
Speaking
of podcasts, Jericho was in a podcast recently, and he was asked about the whole Vince thing, and he said, "I'm not surprised." He legit said he wasn't surprised the whole Vince thing, and he said, "Do you think he's going to be punished?" I don't think so.
No. Oh, Jericho's not going to bury Vince because he still wants a few more paychecks out of Vince.
Oh yeah,
Hall of Fame paycheck.
In the future.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura on Jericho was very entertaining.
Jericho's not done doing. A friend of mine said, "Well, when Jericho goes back, he's got to have Judas as his theme music." No, he doesn't.
No, he does not.
First, Jericho.
No, he does not.
Jericho. WWE is break the wall down. Judas is everywhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
But Scott mentioned Jesse Ventura on Jericho's podcast.
Oh.
Yep. Walter told me about it. I listened to some of the clips. Wow.
Oh,
brilliant.
Boy.
How good is it?
Boy, Jericho had to be sweating bullets, and probably Jericho wanted to tell him fuck off, but at the same time he was holding himself back.
Can't do it. He's a governor.
Can't do it. Also, he's also nuts too. So he doesn't.
Yeah, that too.
That too.
And finally, I got around to watching that Table for 5 with the Bone Street Crew. Oh my god, that was fucking amazing. That's probably my favorite.
Midian shows up late.
Yeah, late.
But hey, he made up for it with Yokozuna socks.
Yes, he did.
Again, I love
They went through the
story.
entire bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yes.
I love. My favorite part was when Taker was talking about Paul Bearer wanting Chinese food for the longest time. I don't get Chinese food, and then Paul was pissed that
because Henry Godwin wanted KFC, and Taker went along with it.
He wouldn't speak to him only in the ring, and they were right, buddy. So can you imagine
The awkwardness for a week.
awkwardness?
How about Io Shirai making Meltzer look bad?
What'd she do?
Yeah.
She's out the door. She's pretty much done. She wants to go back to Japan and be with her family. And all Io does is post one little tweet. Rumors. Barf emoji.
There you go.
And that makes me think, is Io really leaving?
Right.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope she would go to because the main roster needs more depth now. That's another issue.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
And now tell me this: they're doing this nonsense with Lacey Evans, having her come out. There's a perfect opportunity for this now. Have her do it again next week, and have fucking Shotzi come out and beat the shit out of her and throw her back in the ring. Turn Shotzi face again. Huge. If Shotzi comes out and beats the crap out of her and chases her back in the ring, the pop will be amazing.
Oh
Yeah, but they won't do that.
Bring
With, they
back
won't
the
do that with
tank.
her. They'll do that with
Aaliyah.
yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah, they'll do it with I can't remember her name. Yeah, I'm blanking. Never mind.
But I was gonna say, probably the funniest thing that cracked me up about the BSK episode was Godfather talking about how he's a black guy and loves country music, and that threw everybody through a loop,
Redneck.
especially
Yep,
Yoko.
redneck.
And Yoko, they're driving, sees him put a Hank Williams Jr. tape into the cassette deck. What was that for? Hey, mofo. Ain't anybody tell you that you're black? Because I don't think you know. I was like, oh my god, that was so hilarious.
Brilliant.
Did Undertaker express his disappointment in Godfather losing Brawl for All? But I told Scott this. I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was Pritchard who told it, or somebody, about during Brawl for All when they brought up all Taker was telling the guys backstage, "Yo, Bear's gonna beat all your asses. Yo, Bear's got this. Bear's taking it apart."
Yeah.
And then I guess when Godfather, because that's his nickname for Godfather, when Godfather got beat, Taker gave him the cold shoulder for like a month.
Made him look bad.
I think Taker bet money on him. I think that's what happened.
Probably.
Wouldn't shock me if that were the case.
Lost a lot of money on that one.
Yeah. Man. This is making me want to watch The Last Ride again. I haven't seen that in a while. I'll probably watch it again.
It's been a few months since I watched an episode. I go back to it every once in a while.
Hell, I might even just go back and watch his Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start watching Stardom. I'm going to start getting deep into Stardom because I really want to get into it and learn more about it. I know a few wrestlers here and there. Good. I'm actually starting to follow them.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that's yeah.
That's about it.
Trying to think. Is there anything else?
Oh yeah, Cody, I guess, might be coming back sooner than we expected. Like Rumble, which we all figured that would be the perfect place.
Yeah,
for him
I mean,
back.
he's gonna win the Rumble.
The Rumble, win the
shock-
Beltomania. It would be shocking if he didn't show up at the Rumble.
Would you? Okay. I know we're gonna get fantasy booking here. Would you put Cody at number 1 and win the whole thing?
He'd have to be at the end. He'd have to show up at the end.
But then again,
wait. Have him come out at number 2.
Yeah.
And that way, fans are like, he's gonna win the whole thing, coming back from an injury. What a story! Coming back
Maybe have
winning
him
the Rumble.
Maybe have him break the Iron Man record for the 30-man. Perhaps.
Yeah, because does Ray still
Bring him in at 21. Bring him in at 21. Why? All in, double or nothing, blackjack.
Ooh.
Oh Lord.
And you know where number 20 is? Go with me on this. Ring full of guys. Number 20, Almost. Almost cleans house. 21, Cody comes out and eliminates Almost.
By himself.
Oh, that would pop. That would be a big
And
pop.
22, or 20, actually be 20, 22 could be a random
Somebody
guy.
else.
23, Rollins,
Hmm.
and then start
And
having
that's the
Rollins,
final
Cody,
two.
and then get
Final
yes,
two.
and then you get the last guys in there, and then you got Rollins, Rhodes, and we go from there.
Or would you have again kind of like a British Bulldog Shawn thing? Rollins number 1, Cody number 2,
And go
last
coast
to
to
the very end.
coast.
I mean, and
I
make Cody.
think it honestly.
Well, they-
I know where you're going with that. I think it kind of ruins the surprise factor and the. I think it would be like, if Cody came out 1 or 2, huge pop, and then it kind of goes down.
Then the
And
match,
you
the-
forget about
but
the
it.
pops would get last.
honestly,
That's
Later
why
on,
you would have
Look,
Cody come
stronger.
in later. Yeah.
right.
but look, honestly, I'm tired of the Rumble number 30 because Lady number 30's been winning the whole thing. You know, back then it was like
It was
shocking.
rare.
It was
Yeah,
Well,
rare.
actually,
It
no.
was
The
just like-
first guy to win a number 30 was Taker,
was
in
Taker.
07.
yeah, but
30
look,
years after
20
the match.
Rumbles.
But Taker and Cena were the only two. It wasn't until Triple H when he won a number 30, and after that,
In
Brock,
2016.
so
yeah.
yeah. What was the last time somebody won the Rumble from maybe the beginning number since?
Edge in 20.
Edge.
Edge last year.
Last year.
Well, yeah.
Edge.
Edge was
Yeah.
1.
Edge was
Mhm.
one. True.
Yeah.
And,
It's just it's all dependent. Like, it's circumstantial stuff.
to me, it would be kind of cool if he's at the number 1 or 2 spot, or hell, even number 3, Ric Flair spot, breaks the Iron Man record, breaks the record. There.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go down that route, but like Scott said, yeah, if you had him come out early, the pops later on wouldn't mean
Yeah.
as much because
I
it's
mean,
like
it
you
will
know
be-
Cody's
it will-
winning.
I mean, it will be great
Well-
too, but
Or have him come out at 27. Because that's the lucky number of the
The
Rumble.
lucky number.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
I just put 21 because 21 really kicked in with Edge when he came back, and again the 21 blackjack connection to a rib
Yeah.
on AEW with
Yeah.
All In, Double or Nothing, all the
Yeah.
games that they do. I think it would just be a nice little inside rib.
Yeah.
hmm But I'd say that's a good place to wrap up this week. So, reminder
Sure.
of what is coming next week. Next week is the final episode of the month as we're talking top 10 SummerSlam hidden gems. Then we're taking the final week off because that will be when SummerSlam's happening this year. So that's the reminder for this month. And then, of course, next month, there might be a schedule change because I will be away on a beach trip towards the end of the month. So, actually, let me look at the schedule and see when that would
Vacation,
fall
all
on.
that you ever wanted.
That would fall on
Anyway.
the 20th, so 20th hidden to the 27th, so that will be a bit iffy. But August 6th, weekend of my birthday, we're talking WCW Road Wild 97. Week after that, top 10 hottest women in wrestling history. Hey,
As well, we're filthy feckers. Oink, oink.
yes.
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 Respectfully.
Respect.
Yes.
Yes.
Those things are thangin',
Levi?
respectfully
That's right.
speaking.
But September, we're talking WWF One Night Only 97, 25th anniversary. Week after that, an episode I've been wanting to do forever. Top 10 worst storylines, angles in wrestling history.
Kayfabe.
Ooh.
Anyway, It's like
week after
Invasion.
week after that, the first ever Raw review from the past we're doing, the September 22nd, 97 Raw. Week after that, Goldberg's WCW run retrospective, and so on and so forth. But before we leave, it is plug time. Ricky.
you can follow me on my Twitter at HorrorMaster18. You can catch me on my YouTube channel at HorrorMaster. You can catch me on my Instagram at @KaramanMetalGod. And you can catch me here on Libet's channel doing both Shadow Kvlt and the Horseman podcast.
Scott.
Find me on my YouTube channel, It's Mr. Scott, doing all kinds of fun reactions on there. You find me on Twitch under It's Mr. Scott, jamming out at least once a week on Thursday nights for Throw Me Thursday, usually playing bass to all kinds of different kinds of music on there. And also you find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok under It's Mr. Scott. You have to find my TeePublic merch store under It's Mr. Scott. And you also find me and Walter on another podcast, and I'll throw it to him to put that over.
Yes, you can find Mr. Scott and sometimes me. I've been I've been kind of hiding from the podcast world lately. Just been very busy with our good friends Token Tom Clark, Skip Novak, and Sergeant Fury Dan Roberts on the Necrocasticon, where we talk about the latest and greatest in horror and metal and more.
And more.
James.
You can find me in my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I'm 3 weeks into my Heroes of SummerSlam series. I've got 2 weeks left, where this coming week I'm going to be talking Angle, Orton, Rollins, Jeff Hardy. The week after that, I'm going to be talking Shawn, Cena, Undertaker, and Bulldog. And then I got a bunch of stuff heading on through August, September, so on and so forth. So subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at WAPW_wrestling.
And you can subscribe to me on YouTube, ThrashManiac99, where earlier today I posted my review for the new Inhuman Condition album. Basically, if you're a fan of Old Massacre, Obituary, and Death, you might like it. Me, I thought it was good, but there were some things that kind of drove me nuts about it. Mainly the solos going wee-lee-wah the whole time. But that's neither here nor there. Not sure what I'm going to be doing for tomorrow's video, but of course, under the radar this week. I do plan on doing my next CD collection update video, since it's been a little while since I've done one. I know later in the month I'm going to be doing my Asphyx album ranking, which, that's the tough one. God damn it. But already I have a poll up for who I'm going to be ranking next. And you can go to the community tab on my YouTube page to vote. You can vote for Avenged Sevenfold, Ghost, Lamb of God, Mastodon, or Trivium. But already, judging by the percentages, it's more than likely going to be Mastodon for the next ranking, which I am so happy to do that because Mastodon's one of my all-time favorites.
Yes!
Yes! Oh, yes!
Oh, yes! Oh. Hey, at the new job, I'm allowed to listen to music while I work.
Hell yes.
Oh, no.
I wish I could get that.
As long as I'm not distracted, as long as it's not becoming a distraction, I can listen to music at work.
Yeah. And he means like good shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can follow me on Instagram at ThrashManiac_YT. And finally, follow and or subscribe to me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99, where I go live a couple times a week. Either for this, or for the Horseman podcast, or just when I'm bored, play some games with some friends, or just goof the fuck off. Go on, Chris Bards, you sons of bitches! Bards! I hung out with Ice-T, I can rap! He's the only rap guy I know!
Hey, Krusty, what are your thoughts on all this?
Oh, God, Ho, put me in the bag.
I'll give you a hoe to put in the bag. Here, take my dread and shove it up your ass.
And, I would ask Terry Funk, but he's currently on vacation.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's on break.
Yeah, he's on break. But that does it for this week, and we'll see you next week for episode 108.